So recently I did a video about how One Piece Day is coming up and how we might finally get a reveal for a new One Piece game, since it's been around 2.5 years since the last One Piece game, One Piece Odyssey. And not just that, but we might finally get news on the current gen upgrade for One Piece Pirate Warriors 4, as well as info on the DLC, both fan voted DLC and regular DLC, 2 in 1 season pass. And that Pirate Warriors 4 news was initially revealed in February. We're now in August, so imagine my disappointment when we didn't even get the bare minimum of what we expected. And while as a general huge One Piece fan I'm kind of happy, as someone who is particularly looking forward to the gaming side of news for this day, I'm very disappointed, and I'll explain why in this video. But before I get into that, hit that like button and that subscribe button for more anime game content. I want to do more One Piece videos as well as Dragon Ball, Bleach and all that good stuff. Help me get to 2,000 subs as soon as possible. But with that said, I'm your boy Kaizen and let's get straight into it. So if you don't know what was revealed for One Piece Day, some of the key stuff that was revealed was a new trailer for the live action, which looks great for the most part. We also got the confirmation for the fan voted DLC, that being Enel, King, and the movie from Film Z, I think his name is Zed as well or something like that. And we got the first character for the regular DLC, which is actually the DLC pack we get first in 2025, and the first character is Awakened Lucci. And the fan voted DLC is for next year, and it's kind of interesting they did it in that order, to be honest with you. But I can't complain too much about that DLC. And by the way, for those of you who aren't aware, I'm looking to play Pirate Warriors 4 for the first time. I recently beat Pirate Warriors 3, and so it's no surprise that I've been looking forward to this new gen upgrade so I can finally start at the perfect time, right? I mean, I just finished Pirate Warriors 3 a few months ago, and I didn't think I'd have to wait this long, but the fact that it's been 6 months and we don't even have a release date is just ridiculous. But yeah, as for this DLC reveal itself, it's mostly fine. I have seen people complaining that there's no new maps and no new quests, as well as some of the characters being like rehashes with different movesets. I can't say too much about that, but you know, I guess we'll see how good it is. The gameplay looks fine, for Lucci anyway, but at bare minimum, we thought we'd get upgrade info and the full DLC roadmap. I understand that they left some question marks for the Lucci DLC. I guess it would just be more Egghead DLC, right? Maybe Saturn and I don't know, Awaken Bonnie, something like that. But no, 6 months later and not even a hint of the release date for the upgrade. And it's possible maybe they delayed it so that they can match it with a Switch 2 release, but why not reveal that in this event too? I don't understand it, because knowing how these things go, it's not even going to be that huge of an upgrade, and I'm going to be wondering why we had to wait that long altogether. Like, it can't be that hard for the Switch 2 upgrade, as well as the other consoles, PS5 and Xbox Series X. And I kind of mentioned it earlier, but the first DLC pack, you know, the one of Lucci and 2 characters to be announced, is for 2025. And then the 2026 DLC is the fan voted DLC. Now I can't decide what I'm more disappointed about, because while I am devastated that we didn't get a new game revealed, it's just the fact that I almost expected like the new gen upgrade to be a given that we're going to get info on it, but we didn't even get that. Like, they literally went below my low expectations. Like, I was somewhat prepared to see no new game announcement, especially the one we were really praying for, which is a new multiplayer game, specifically PvP. And at this point, that's just a fantasy, because it seems like they can't even do the bare minimum. And I know I seem like I'm hating, but I really want One Piece games to be good, and I really want to play Pirate Warriors 4. And I know there's going to be someone in my comments saying I'm snobby for wanting to upgrade. Look, I don't know if it's OCD or what, but if I know a PS5 upgrade is about to happen any day now, I'm going to wait for that upgrade to play it at its full potential. And it's not my fault that they took this long. I had no idea it would be this much of a wait. And I know I'm not the only one complaining, because I've seen plenty of people complaining in the comments of all the One Piece posts. I just want to remind people that the last time we got a One Piece PvP game, console game, was in 2016. That game is so old, it was on the PS Vita. Pirate Warriors is great, and I'm really looking forward to the upgrade, as well as any other RPGs in the One Piece gaming side of things, whether it's the recent RPGs like Odyssey, World Seeker, or a new RPG single player game. But we really want a PvP game, but they did none of that. And what really frustrates me is the fact that arguably the Gacha game, and I'm specifically talking about One Piece Treasure Cruise, arguably got the most interesting reveal of the whole of the gaming side of One Piece Day. And I know Bounty Rush got something too, but Treasure Cruise kind of stole the show, because they showed Boa Hancock with the Rumble fruit. And not only is that as a unique concept just really cool and creative in itself, but the animations look cool, and it's the fact that they got something that isn't even like canon or whatever, and they were really creative with it, and we can't even get the bare minimum of what we want on the console games. But nowadays I'm just used to seeing that, like with the gacha games getting all the cool stuff. Even though I've said my thoughts on the gacha games over and over again, I don't see them as, I don't want to say I don't see them as real games, but I don't look at them the same as I look at the console games, you know? They have to do creative stuff to keep people paying, you know? I mean, you're not going to keep paying for like base Gear 2 Luffy or something like that over and over again for 10 years, because that game is over 10 years old now. Also, the fact that this was on One Piece Day and they still didn't announce a new game really makes me think that we won't even get a new game, not just released this year, but not even announced this year. I guess the only other chance would be on, I believe, Jump Festa, which is later this year. And likely, I mean, One Piece is a powerhouse in shonen, so I guess we will see One Piece there, but I don't know if they'd announce a game there. I'd have to look up if they've ever announced a One Piece game at Jump Festa. If I do find info on that, I should put it up on screen right now. But I mean, it's definitely a possibility. It's just after it not being announced at One Piece Day, you know, the day for One Piece, my expectations are quite low. But maybe that's a good thing, because they could pleasantly surprise me. Now, while we are on the topic of One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 and new content, new DLC, I have seen some discourse online about how this game is still getting new content. Like, I think some people aren't aware that it's getting a current gen upgrade, which likely means more content when games get that. But, you know, just the fact that it's still getting new DLC over 5 years later, people are surprised about that, and surprised that a game like this, you know, a Musou game, single player game kind of, is still getting new content, a season 3, whereas, you know, a game like Naruto Storm Connections isn't even getting its season 2, or at least not confirmed yet. I guess we'll find out. And I do think, I mean, I understand the frustration, especially for Naruto fans, because they're kind of in the mud right now, especially on the gaming side of things. I know they have the Boruto manga, but, you know, specifically gaming here, it's not looking great for them, although Shinobi Strikers is still doing its thing, to be fair. But they don't have a big gacha game right now as far as I'm aware, and the main fighting game, which is an iconic series in the anime gaming scene, Naruto Storm, isn't getting new DLC. And there's plenty of DLC they could do. However, I just want to remind people that the fighting games, while they do get the spotlight, especially from content creators and the general fan base, like the outspoken fan base, especially in the West, you gotta remember there's like other communities around the world, especially in Japan, that love the single player games. And even in the West, of course, we love the single player games, right? And also, you gotta remember, just because it's a fighting game doesn't mean it's, you know, the main focus of the devs. Really, what I want to point out is, if you just look at the player count, and I was really shocked by this, by the way, and keep in mind that DLC isn't even out yet. The current PC player count, I know PC isn't everything, but the PC player count on Pirate Warriors 4 is several times higher than Naruto Storm Connections. I have to say, like, I don't want to rub salt in the wounds for Naruto fans, but that is actually insane to me, because that is a PvP game. Not just that, but it's not even 2 years old yet. It's meant to be the Naruto game right now. And I don't even think the DLC, the latest DLC, Warriors Boroshiki, is even a year old yet. Or barely a year old, if that. So that is pretty crazy. But there is some insight to any of you or anyone that you know who's asking questions like, why the hell is this game still getting DLC? I'm talking about Pirate Warriors 4, of course. And why is a Naruto getting DLC? Keep in mind, I'm not saying Storm Connection sold bad or anything. Allegedly, like, there's no reports of it selling 1 million as far as I'm aware. I think what we've seen is like the week 1 sales for Japan alone, and even then that's week 1 and just Japan. And I've heard that when it comes to the PvP side of things, Japan isn't as locked in as the West, so... And I don't even think we got the sales for the DLC, I could be wrong. Once again, I'm just going off speculation here, but we do know that the sales aren't exactly anything to write home about, right? I mean, looking at the bigger picture of anime games, I'm sure it's sold fine, but like, I'm pretty sure it didn't even sell as well as Jujutsu Kaisen Cursed Clash, which isn't a great look, although that game did sell better than people think, despite its horrible reputation, especially on some other consoles like on the Switch and in Japan, of course. The point being is, don't be surprised that Pirate Warriors 4 is still getting new content, while other games that you might want to get new DLC aren't, like Storm Connections, or at least as far as we're aware. Now, as I did say earlier, as a general huge One Piece fan, because for those of you that don't know, that is my second favorite anime. Like, I am obsessed with One Piece. I have Bleach at number 3 despite what people think of me. I actually like One Piece a bit more than Bleach, although I love them both, and Dragon Ball number 1, of course. One of the reasons why I'm frustrated is I barely get to talk about One Piece on this channel because we don't even have like a new One Piece game, especially like a PvP game or a full-on multiplayer multiplayer game, like a party game that can bring the One Piece community together in the gaming side of things, you know? I would love to do more videos on it. I mean, my recent One Piece video did pretty good, and I appreciate all you guys sticking with me, everyone who subscribed from that. I know there's plenty of you One Piece fans on my channel, and of course those of you watching this video. I do plan to do a One Piece Pirate Warriors 3 video very soon. I'm writing a script for that kind of, and eventually I'll play Pirate Warriors 4. And I don't know, I'm thinking about trying some of the older One Piece games like Unlimited World Red and maybe Odyssey. I don't know, which one would you guys rather see? The old one or the new one? Let me know. Maybe even both. And as I said, I'm a huge One Piece fan, so the other stuff we got was pretty cool, although I like to just wait for new media. Like, I'm glad we finally got a season 2 trailer for the live action, which is pretty cool. And I think they did a preview for the anime. I might binge the anime tonight. I'm about 7 episodes behind, so I'll binge that. But look, overall, after everything we've seen, while it's on me to have expectations for a new game, there is no excuse for the fact that they haven't revealed more of the current gen upgrade for Pirate Warriors 4, and just no transparency whatsoever. And I'm just wondering what they've done for the last 6 months. I almost feel like there's no excuse, because 6 months for what's probably going to be a minimal upgrade, and the fact that, you know, it's a perfect layup to match the upgrade with the next DLC release, and they can't even like announce it or give any info whatsoever. I think it's ridiculous. I don't know what they're playing at. And if it is because of a Switch 2 release, then why are they taking so long for that as well? I mean, we just had a third party direct for the Switch 2, so that would have been the perfect place to announce it, but I guess we gotta wait and see for more info. But let me know if you share my frustrations, if you think I'm overreacting. I guess I'm overreacting regarding a new game, although I feel like we're just desperate for a new game, especially multiplayer and PvP. Regarding the new gen upgrade for Pirate Warriors 4, are you also waiting for that? Or I don't know, if you're an old player and you want to return for the upgrade, I guess you're in less of a rush. And of course, let me know your thoughts on the DLC. Are you satisfied with the reveals, or did you expect more, like new quests and maps? Let me know. And if you're a One Piece fan or an anime game fan in general, and you've watched this far, why on earth haven't you subscribed yet? You clearly like my content, and I know I'm a small YouTuber right now, but hopefully one day I won't be, and you can say you were an OG on my channel, because I am in this for the long run and have no plans of quitting anytime soon or ever. And help me get to 2,000 subs as soon as possible. Check out my videos on screen now, I think you'll like them, and follow my Twitter in the description below. But with that said, I've been your boy Kaizen, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.